Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast. I'm Anna. Let's get started. Okay, today we're talking about soul passion. I wrote the words down yesterday in the anticipation that I was going to bring forward some beautiful insight that I had yesterday. Of course, today is today, not yesterday. So now I am going to wing it as we talk about soul passion, what it means for me right now. I also apologize if there's any background noise. We do have some construction going on around us, and we also have the kids at home at school holiday, so if there's any background noise, I do apologize. So I guess we're going to talk about soul passion. I don't even like those two words together. They just sound weird, and when I think of passion fruit, and while I love the flavour of passion fruit, there's something about those seeds that I do not like. I don't like chewing on them and having them as bits in things. For some reason, it just drives me crazy. Where does your passion come from? What is the thing that you yearn for? It can be really hard to try and find what that is if you are full of shadows or beliefs that aren't really serving you. And I know I talk about this a lot and carry on about it, but it's only through my own experience and my own being that I'm understanding more and more and more how much that can make a difference to what works for you and what feels good for you. Like for right now, I have eight different business streams, if they're the words you want to use, of things that I enjoy doing, of things that allow me to sit in my own creativity, that bring me joy, that I can share and offer to and with others. These change all the time. I'm sure every time I get on this podcast, there'll be something different happening on the back end, on my path of enjoyment. And it was only yesterday, and this is probably why I wrote down soul passion, this makes me so happy that I do have these 8 different streams or these 8 different areas that I can work in. So I don't like using the word work because it's not really work. It's more enjoying the experience of what those offers actually bring. It may not make sense to a lot of people that having different streams like that, multiple streams of things that you are doing at different times that require different energy and different commitments, can stretch you, can not make business sense or logical sense, or seem to be the way that is going to make you super rich or super famous or whatever the outcome is. And none of those things that I'm doing is about that. I've really been on a journey, especially over the last, year and a bit, of trying to find out who I am without those layers and those cloudy judgments and all those things that sit on top of us that really sort of dampen the authenticity of who we actually are. And you don't realize that until you start doing that work and you start removing those layers, because I've said it a million times, I know, but the proof is in the experience, and you don't know if you don't know. So this is why I know I need to say it as many times as I can, so that anyone who's listening will be like, oh my God, stop talking about it, which literally is a layer in itself if it's annoying you. But it's really just to drive home the fact of finding out who you are, what is your soul passion is a journey, and we may not get to the end of that journey during our lifetime. We may not truly find that one thing or those multiple things that are going to bring us the joy that we know that we desire and we know that is truly possible. Okay, so it's really interesting as I sort of talk about this, how There's a couple of ways that you can look at the things that spiritual people offer out to other people. Is there an element of, yes, this is spiritual or healing, or this is going to help you, or this is some teachings, or I can do these things for you only to make money, or I'm going to offer all these things because this is what I'm being called to do, or I just want to make money, I'm just jumping on this bandwagon because this is what everyone else is doing. There's a lot of different ways that you can sort of look at what these offers are, and the way that you look at them is going to be based on your own beliefs and your own thoughts and where you are right now in how you can receive what other people are offering. Now, I'm not going to be able to tell you that, all spiritual people are just doing everything from intuition and just here because they want to share the love and help everyone. Of course, there are people who are still in it to make money, but of course, there are also people who do still want to help people, but also be compensated for it by receiving money for their services. And if we have an objection to the money piece of a spiritual offer, then I would think that would be some sort of money issue that you may have in relation to thinking that those two shouldn't go together. We do live in a world where we do require money to live. There's no doubt about it. And as spiritual people, we can think that if I intend it, if I try and manifest money, that it's just going to come to me out of the blue. Yes, that can happen. But also, there is an element of where you need to do things in order to receive things so that you can receive money for your services as a way of the universe saying, here's your compensation type thing. Even though you could look at someone who has an offer and just say they're offering something and it's really expensive and you're like, oh my God, that's so expensive. Who's going to pay that? But then you could also see someone who's offering something that should be worth a lot of money, but they're offering it for free. And you're like, oh my God, what an idiot. Why would you do that for free? So there's so many different areas that we could look at that, even though we are still the same person. We can look at different things in different ways with different viewpoints, depending where we are on that circle of understanding. But whilst it may look like that a lot of the things that I have on offer are like, you're just throwing things out there. They're not. They pick up different aspects of who I am. They allow me to experience the things that I enjoy doing in ways that only I can. And it's taken me a little while to get to this place where I can have these different areas that I enjoy doing. And it's not like I have this little plan and I say, okay, so today we're doing this, today we're doing that, tomorrow we're doing that, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that. Don't get me wrong, I still have a very strong logical and like to do steps and plan things out. However, I also have a very strong creative side to myself, and I do fully allow everything to come in intuitively and the way that it is meant to. So there's a beautiful balance between the two that I'm now allowing at the moment. And it was shown to me recently where it's like you just drop through like little portals or little wormholes where, okay, I'm over here right now creating this podcast. As soon as I'm finished, I'm going to jump in this porthole and go and start doing some graphic design. Couple of hours into that, I might jump into the next portal and I'm coming out over here designing t-shirts. It's not something that can be viewed that makes logical sense, but to me it works so perfectly. And because I'm so in tune now with the way that I operate, I can flow through these different things with so much more ease. Whereas if I tried to do this maybe a year or so ago, it would have been a little bit more difficult. There would have been days where it would have been easy and other days where it would have been, this is too much, I can't do it. But for now, it's exactly what I enjoy doing. And because I'm not stressing about any of it or thinking, oh my goodness, I need to do this now, or oh my goodness, I better go jump over here. It's just allowing the flow of everything to come through as it needs to, as it feels right in the moment. And I can't tell you why or how, and it could be based on my mood, the energies in the air, whatever you want to look like. It's just going to vary every day, and that's the fluidity of our existence, is where we allow whatever to come through, to be seen, to be felt, to be shown in whatever way it needs to, in whatever moment. And the only way we can truly do that is to really be able to listen to our intuition. I was thinking about it the other day, how before, like, I can't remember what the number is, but I know we have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of thoughts during the day. And I know it used to be, for me, a lot of, let's be real, like boring thoughts. It's, oh, I've got to get this from the shops. I've got to go pay that bill. I've got to go do that. What's this person doing? Oh, what's that over there? Oh, what about this? What about that? Go back to an old memory. Oh, remember when that person did that? Oh, why didn't I say that? Oh, I should have done that. And all these thoughts that would go all over the place, which literally served us in no way whatsoever, except solidify the feelings and the emotions and things inside our body. But now I've noticed the way that I think is, because I have a lot more space in the way that my brain thinks. So because I've done a lot of the healing work, because I've done a lot of being able to just be and just allow, I can keep my mind a lot quieter. So the things that I think about are not me reliving moments over or going back into the past or thinking about everyday things. Of course, all these things still pop up, but for me, it's more of thinking about the things we can create, thinking about the intuitive thoughts that just come in by themselves. So when your mind is in that restful place, and it's like looking at a body of water, like an ocean or a lake or something, and it's nice and still, and someone throws a rock or something falls in the water, and it has that little effect where it just jumps in and it starts rippling everywhere. It's like that more in my mind now, where because it's so still and calm, I can now hear, well, like with the water analogy, you can see that rock as it hits the water. Whereas if that water had a lot of crashing waves and someone threw a rock in, you're not going to see it. So the way in my mind now, because it is that still body of water, when those rocks hit, it's like, oh, okay, that's a great idea. Oh, that feels good. Oh, I'm going to go do that. So I can listen to whatever comes in, whether it's what I feel like working on, what do I feel like writing down, what do I feel like doing, what do I feel like my next step is, what is a new awareness that is coming into me. Because what I'm finding now, because it's not all about just the doing and the living in this world, there's a lot more of that higher frequency energy that comes through. There's a lot more knowledge that is coming through on a higher and a deeper spiritual level that sometimes makes absolute no sense. But some of these thoughts and information that comes in that allows me to link new information with old information, or something that I found out about ages ago, and I'm talking about like theoretical information and things like that, and how they correlate to each other. It's like, oh my goodness, I've just put that together. And it's like all these little pieces that start coming together and start creating this beautiful map of knowing and existing in a way that makes complete sense. So it's not just things for me to do, or my next step, or great ideas, or exactly what I need to do in every moment. There's also a level of the bigger picture, a bigger awareness, a deeper understanding of our existence and how it works. And a lot of it I don't share because I don't think all of it that we receive is for everyone else. But there are parts that I am called to share and that I do share. And that's one of the other arms I have is my Disruptor Frequency membership, is so I can sort of highlight some of that deeper level of intuition and knowing and feed it out to the people who need to hear it. And it's not in a sense of, oh, wow, look at this new observation. Now you can all jump on board. It's more of giving people that frequency to question or to allow something new to come through. Energetic vibrational frequency, which is what we all are, that will come out in the tone of your voice. When someone else receives that, or the way that it is echoing out across our existence. So right now, while I'm speaking, even though I'm speaking into a microphone and my voice is traveling through the space around us, there will also be people who will listen to my words and they will receive the tones and frequency of my voice and what I'm saying. And it is not just for the receiver to go, oh, wow, she said this, that's a great idea, or, oh, that makes sense, now I believe this. It's not just that. There's also a level of connectedness between all of us existing as vibrational frequencies where when we receive certain tones and information from people, we will not just absorb what they are saying, but it will ignite and spark something else in that receiver. So there could be one word that I speak or something that I've said that will then light up your vibrational frequency to go and think of something else, or to go and do something else, or whatever it is. There is a reaction to everything that we are always receiving. And it's not just you listening to my podcast. It is everything that is around us. And it is so complex. It's probably even harder to try and describe, but the way that it is received into your own frequency is going to be unique to you. And the effect of that will be something that only you will be able to receive or see or act on, because every single thing that we do, every single thing that we hear, say, feel is going to form part of exactly what you're going to do in the next moment. So it could be, even what you're going to write, what you're going to say, what you're going to do, where you're going to go, what you're going to think about. It just consistently changes so much. And that's why I think it's really important to try and follow that information, or those hits, as we like to call it, those intuitive hits of you to go do something. But you need to do it in the moment, because obviously, even like me trying to write down 2 words of what I was trying to talk about, coming back to it later on, it's gone. So we need to really sort of do those things in the moment. And I find the more that I am unshadowed and don't have these layers of beliefs holding me back, I can allow more of that information to come in, but it needs to be in that moment. It needs to be right now. It can't be, oh, that's really interesting, I'm going to write that down and do that in 6 months. For me, I need to do it in that moment. I need to act on it in that moment. Sometimes I will get information and it'll be, I'll just write this down right now and that's it. And then somehow I will link back to it later on. But it's very important, I have found, for me to keep following those hits, no matter how silly and how stupid. Sometimes they make no sense, but you will know in the moment what they are and what they're for. And we probably unknowingly reject so many of them that, like, you'll get an idea, go clean the microwave, and then, you'll literally be going, I'll do that later. But you forget that there's a reason why those thoughts are popping into your head in that moment for whatever reason. And there's that certain coding and like a coded step of the frequency of what you're doing next. And we are continually getting these new hits, and we are just following the different ones as they come in. So instead of us having thoughts of old things and things that don't make sense, once we're able to sort of clear our mind, they're all just going to come in more as intuitive moments or ideas, or the next things that we're going to do to propel us into, what's next for us, which is leading us towards our soul passion, because our soul knows on its pure source frequency level, it knows exactly what we, I was going to say should, but I didn't want to use that word, what we can be doing, what is going to consistently light us up, what is going to be fully aligned with exactly who we are. But to get to that soul passion, we need to follow everything along the way. But in order to be able to hear more of the things that are coming in, we do still need to do that level of removing the things that are clouding it all. Like even right now, you may have something that you truly love, that you think is your soul passion and your soul desire, but then down the track, you could change your mind. There could be something else. And, in that moment when you thought you were doing the thing that was bringing you the most joy, that's what was happening in that moment, in that point. At that point of time, that was the one thing that was bringing you joy. That was the thing that you were passionate about. That was the thing that was lighting up your soul. But everything is consistently changing based on so many factors that, you don't even have to be aware of them. Not everyone needs to be fully tuned in with the energies of the universe and the people around them and everything else. But if you are, you know how quickly things can change. You know how you can tune into things, and how, something that feels one way can suddenly feel another way. So it is always constantly changing. There is that ebb and flow, but it's just up to us to always keep following whatever it is that we are desiring to do, what is driving us forward. It's the things that are making us jump out of bed every day and go, yes, I'm going to do this. Even if you're doing things or you're feeling things or you're being things that don't really resonate with who you are, and you know that you are trying to get out of that and try to find the things more that are you. Find the little things, like even if it's standing in the sun for 5 minutes, or if it's colouring in for a couple of seconds, or, playing with your kids, or doing a puzzle for no reason other than you enjoy doing it. Find those little moments and try to make those bigger and bigger and bigger, because in the process of doing the little things that are bringing you joy, you're going to start releasing more of those things that are not bringing you joy, which will then bring you closer to your soul passion. And before we wrap up for today, the whole reason this topic came about was how I've really decided that, and I've always enjoyed creating and designing things for my different businesses and ideas and courses, programs, workbooks, whatever, you name it. It's in the creation that I have found my greatest joy. And I always thought it was about the other side of that creation. What was the offer or product or whatever it was that you were creating on the other side of that creation was going to be the most important part of it. That was the key that was really leading you into whatever your next step was. And it's only recently that I've made the connection that it's not. It's in the creation of whatever it is that I want to offer where I find the most joy. So if I had an idea for a new course or a new business, it's like, oh my God, yes, I can't wait to create the logo, can't wait to create the graphics, the video, blah, 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 whatever. That is the part that I love the most. And even with some of the programs that I'd offer, be like, oh yes, I get to create all this, and it's, oh, now I've got to actually create the program. And that felt more of a drain with some of the things that I was doing. Even though, I was still getting the intuition to go do it, it was less exciting compared to the creation of the graphic that went with it. So I've now come to the conclusion that my journey of creating all the things that I've created over the last few years has led me to this point right now where I can now create for others. And so I've started, this is one of my 8 arms of doing social media and graphic type designing for people. I have some offers out for December. Sounds like a sales bill. It's not. I'm just mentioning it in here because when I go back to, if you go all the way back to school, what did I want to do when I finished school was I wanted to create props, like for the back of stage. And the other thing that I was interested in, I think it was CAD, computer aided design. I don't even know if that still exists, but you know how you design on the computer, the architectural designs and things like that. They were the 2 things I wanted to do when I finished school. And it's funny, it's taken me 30 years to get to this point now where I'm exactly doing literally those things that I wanted to do. It's now a place where I can share this, honestly, the ultimate passion of who I am, because every single arm of what I have right now is a form of my creation. It's a form of me in my truest sense. Creating art, writing a book, designing t-shirts, speaking of the things that my intuition comes in, all of it comes down into me creating. So me offering graphic design for social media for spiritual entrepreneur, I cannot say that word, entrepreneurs just like me it makes complete sense. And I say this about so many things, but I truly feel excited about it. I'm excited about lots of things, but I know that it's not just the essence of who I am. It's not just me coming to a place where this feels good right now. It's also coming with the experience of doing it as a spiritual person, trying to lead businesses and trying to get my designs out in different social media platforms. But then there's also that whole level of my own frequency. So I am very deep into our energetic vibrational frequency, so we can see and feel different tones and frequency of our consciousness. My goal here on this earth plane right now is to create new consciousness based on our purest form of our creative self, so I can tune into the frequency of the design, the intention behind the design and the offer that I can create for people. I can marry the 2 together. So I can use the physicalness, the human side of creating artwork that appeals to the eye, that is current, that works with whatever platform you're using, etc., along with the encoded frequency on a vibrational level, so that I can either bring in the right energy and tones and create the right symbols or sigils to make sure that the intention of the design is exactly reflecting what the outcome is of what you're actually creating. So it's something that I don't think many people can do. Well, let's be real, no one can really offer the same thing. Even though there can be a billion people doing the same thing, it's unique to everyone, and everyone's own unique frequency is going to be attached to, to actually doing graphic design or social media design like that. But it's a very unique and personalized creational experience that I'm now excited to offer to people. So if you are interested, I'm sure you can find more information about that. But that is all from me. Thank you guys. Now, go keep searching for your soul passion. Go keep finding those things that are bringing you joy. And I'll be back next week with something more to talk about.